true love always inseparable. Ava and Ethan first crossed paths in the buzzing open floor plan of a tech startup in 2025. Ethan was the guy everyone noticed, charismatic, quick-witted, and never afraid to speak his mind. Ava, however, blended into the background. She was the team's silent powerhouse, always the first to arrive and the last to leave. Their connection began during late-night work sessions. Ethan stayed back, battling glitches in their app's code. Ava, though she didn't have to, always offered to help. At first, their conversations revolved around work, but slowly, those quiet nights turned into shared jokes, anecdotes about their past, and even confessions about their dreams and fears. Ethan had a knack for making Ava laugh at the most ridiculous things. One night, after hours of debugging, he turned to her and said, "If this code were a person, I'd fire them on the spot." Ava's laughter echoed through the empty office, surprising even herself. By the end of the year, they weren't just colleagues. They were inseparable. Their weekends, once spent apart, were now filled with impromptu road trips, cooking disasters in Ava's tiny kitchen, and binge-watching old sitcoms. It wasn't official, but everyone in the office knew they were a couple. 2 years flew by. Ava, ever practical, began thinking about the future. She wanted to build a life with Ethan, a home, a family, everything. But every time she hinted at marriage, Ethan dodged the topic. Finally, one evening, as they shared takeout on her couch, Ava asked directly, "Ethan, do you ever see us getting married?" He paused, looking genuinely puzzled. "Why do we need to? We're happy. Marriage doesn't change anything, does it?" His response felt like a punch to the gut. For Ava, marriage wasn't just a label. It was a promise, a foundation. Their discussion escalated into an argument, with both sides refusing to budge. By the time Ethan left that night, the tension was unbearable. The following weekend was torturous. Ava tried to distract herself with friends, but everything reminded her of Ethan. The way he always ordered extra fries, his off-key singing, even his mismatched socks. Ethan, on the other hand, sat in his apartment, staring at his phone, replaying their argument over and over. Monday morning arrived, and Ava dreaded seeing him at work. But as she approached her desk, there he was, standing awkwardly, holding her favorite coffee. "I messed up," he admitted. "These 2 days without you have been awful. I don't want to lose you, Ava. I'm not ready for marriage yet, but I promise, someday I will be." Ava wasn't sure what to say. She didn't want to pressure him, but she also couldn't ignore her own feelings. They decided to take a step back and focus on rebuilding what they had, one day at a time. Months passed. Their relationship steadied, but Ava's parents began to grow suspicious. Why was she turning down every suitor they suggested? One evening, her mother cornered her. "Who is this boy you're waiting for?" she demanded. "He's someone special, Mom," Ava said softly. "Then bring him here. Let us meet him," her mother replied. Introducing Ethan to her family was nerve-wracking. Ava's mother was skeptical, her father reserved. But Ethan, despite his nerves, was honest and open. By the end of the night, he had won them over with his humor and sincerity. Even with her family's approval, the topic of marriage remained on hold. Ava tried to be patient, but doubts crept in. Did Ethan really mean what he said, or was he stalling? Ethan, meanwhile, was grappling with his own fears. He loved Ava, but the idea of marriage terrified him. It wasn't about commitment. It was about failing her. What if he couldn't live up to her expectations? One evening, after a long day at work, they sat watching the sunset from a hill near their apartment. Ethan broke the silence. "I've been thinking a lot," he began, "about us, about the future, and I realized something. I don't want to imagine a life without you. So, if marriage is what it takes to prove that, then let's do it." Ava's heart swelled with relief and joy. They weren't rushing. They were growing together. Their wedding was a simple, heartfelt affair. Close friends and family gathered in a small garden, watching as Ethan and Ava vowed to support and love each other through whatever life threw their way. Years later, their child would sit down to share their story. "My parents weren't perfect," they'd say, "but they taught me that love isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning from them and choosing each other every single day." The moral lesson of this story teaches us that love is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, understanding, and the courage to grow together. True love doesn't promise perfection. It promises effort.
Wow, what an incredible story. It's amazing how a single act of kindness can ripple out and transform lives. Now I want to hear from you. In this amazing story, you learned new English vocabulary and expressions through an engaging narrative, storytelling techniques to improve your writing and fluency, the importance of patience, empathy, and communication in relationships, how love evolves and requires effort to overcome challenges. As the sun set on Ava and Ethan's journey, their story reminded us all of an important truth. Love isn't about being perfect. It's about trying, learning, and growing together. Years later, their child would share their story, saying, "My parents taught me that real love is choosing each other, even on the hardest days." Now it's your turn. What do you think about Ava and Ethan's story? Have you ever faced a challenge in love that taught you an important lesson? Share your thoughts, experiences, or even your own love stories in the comments below. Let's inspire each other with the beauty and strength of real love. And remember, every story you read, listen to, or tell brings you closer to fluency in English. That's why here at Story Fluent, we make learning English more than just grammar. It's about stories, emotions, and human connections. Don't forget to like this video if it touched your heart and hit that subscribe button for more inspiring tales every week. Let's grow fluent, one story at a time.